I'm making this video specifically for the people who felt like they were different when they were growing up. Maybe you were teased for being different. You were laughed at for being weird. Hi, nice to meet you, fellow weirdo here. Yeah, it wasn't until I was in my mid-20s trying to grow a business and not seeing anything grow um, that first of all I learned the lesson of okay, so I've done all the hard work part. I can't physically work harder. It must be something else. And that's what actually led me down the road of manifestation and learning about mindset and how sometimes we can have these beliefs underneath the surface that are self sabotaging, keeping us stuck, holding us away from what we want. And so in my mid 20s, I went to my first transformational workshop with one of my mentors, Garen Jones. And there are often things that we might go through as a child or as a young adult that we don't think are still affecting us. But years later, they are still controlling the way that we're showing up. Is this resonating with you in any way? Let me know in the comments if it is. One of the questions my mentor asked was, when you were a kid, what was the name you were called that didn't feel nice, that wasn't kind? And we may have different names that you were called, that I was called. But for me, the one that came up was, Lucie, you're such a weirdo. Oh, Lucie, why do you have shoes like that, not like everybody else's? You're such a weirdo. Why do you have such a healthy lunchbox? You're such a weirdo. Just, and why do you talk like that? You're such a weirdo. Because I grew up as an only child. My parents are older than a lot of people's parents were, and I love the childhood that I had, the parents that I had. But we were different. We were alternative. We were unconventional. And anyone who's different, alternative, unconventional when you are 4 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, maybe you had the same experience, right? Where people find that weird. Anyway, the point is, I rejected being a weirdo for my early adult life. It was a part of me that I tried to hide, suppress, avoid. I was ashamed of this. Anything that made me different from the mainstream. And I would try and be kind of like edgy, but then I was still desperate to just fit in with the edgy look or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that classic, maybe when you're at a certain age, when you're at high school, you do just want to reject who you are and try and conform with how everybody else looks and is. Speaking from my experience, maybe you weren't like that, but this was me. Over the last 5+ years, 7 years, 8 years, basically what I've done is I flipped 180 from totally rejecting being a weirdo, being ashamed of being a weirdo, to genuinely loving it, to owning it, to embracing it, to not being ashamed of it, to laugh, to not take it seriously, but also to love being the unique person that I am. And interestingly, as soon as I started to own my weirdness, quote unquote, just let myself be authentically who I am, which helped me to align with who I truly am rather than wearing layers and layers and layers of fake identities. It has led to so much growth and success and joy and love and expansion and milestones in my life. So the one and only reason why I'm sharing this story is for you, if you're watching this right now and you're currently in that phase of still being ashamed of who you are and rejecting who you truly are because of what the bullies said or what those critical people in your life said or those people who laughed at you for being who you truly are, you might be able to just switch and just go, I'm going to own it from now on. Or it might be a journey, a practice of day by day forgiving yourself for rejecting yourself, and reclaiming who you are, one loving baby step at a time. Feeling safe to be who you are, and knowing that if a mean person says something mean about you or mean to you, it's because they're a mean person. The end. How many of you have found that somebody mean said something mean to you, and that caused you to dull your shine or change who you are or whatever? And then you find that you've stopped being yourself, and then someone mean is mean to you anyway. My point is, every now and then mean people come along, that you cross paths with them and it's not very pleasant. But you're living your life 24 hours a day, and you could either suppress and change and alter who you are and not live the life that you're meant to live and not live in your true self and feel burnt out and exhausted and drained and depressed, and you don't know why, but really it's because you're not in alignment with just letting yourself be free and letting yourself be who you truly are. You could either live like that 24/7 for fear of what people think, and then some mean person still says something mean to you, or you can go ahead and live that weird, wacky, unconventional life that you want to live. Be free, be happy in yourself, be aligned with who you truly are, feel things flow to you more easily, feel more energized than ever before, feel more at peace in your body and in your heart than ever before. And if somebody says something mean, hey, at least you're living the life that you want to live and you're being the person that you want to be. So yeah, this is your sign that maybe the key to unlock the door to your next level actually lies in you reclaiming who you are and letting yourself be more you every single day, and learning to re-love and eventually madly love you. So let me know if you found this helpful, if you're going to reclaim being the weirdo, the amazing weirdo that you might be, whatever it was that you were called, alchemizing that word, reclaiming it for yourself, and loving yourself for being that way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring my bell so that you never miss another video. Until next time, bye!